If you think the hardest part of building wealth is actually making the money, you are wrong. The hardest part is keeping it once people know you have it. I'm Dan, and I'm here to help you improve your personal finance by teaching you the art of stealth wealth. Specifically, the 5 things you must take to the grave if you ever want to reach financial independence. We live in a flex culture. You open Instagram and everyone is broadcasting their wins. But here's the rule you need to tattoo on your brain. Wealth is quiet, insecurity is loud. The first thing you must never, ever share with anyone, not your coworkers, not your drinking buddies, and honestly, not even your parents, is your net worth. I want you to imagine living in a house made entirely of clear glass. Every wall is transparent. Every time you sit down to check your banking app, your neighbors, your cousins, and your high school friends are pressed against the glass, watching you count. They see every dollar. How would that change your relationships? Suddenly, your friend doesn't offer to split the dinner bill because you can afford it. Suddenly, your cousin has a business idea that only needs $5,000 to get off the ground. Suddenly, you aren't a friend anymore. You are a walking ATM. When you share your number, you instantly turn your friends into auditors and your family into borrowers. You destroy the equality in the room. We see the extreme version of this with the lottery curse. Take the story of Abraham Shakespeare, a Florida man who won $30 million in 2006. He was a generous guy. He gave money to almost anyone who asked. Within 3 years, he was broke and murdered by a woman who befriended him specifically to drain his remaining assets. That is extreme, sure, but the micro version happens every day. When you tell people you have $100,000 saved, you paint a target on your back. Real wealth is not about what you show, it is about what you hide. If you are 25 and you manage to save your first $50,000, celebrate in silence. Buy yourself a nice steak, but do not post the receipt. The moment you make your success public, you invite the crab bucket mentality, where people will subconsciously try to pull you back down to their level just to feel better about their own spending. But protecting your net worth is just the defense. There is actually a way you are sabotaging your offense right now by talking too much. There is a biological glitch in your brain called a dopamine leak. And in the next part, I'm going to show you why telling people your goals is the fastest way to ensure you never achieve them. There is a biological glitch in the human brain that destroys ambition, and most young people trigger it every single day. It's called premature celebration. We have all done this. You decide you are going to start a business, or pay off your debt, or retire by 40. You get excited. You go to happy hour and tell your friends, I'm going to crush it this year. I'm investing 50% of my income. They high-five you. They say, wow, that's amazing, Dan. You feel great. You feel successful. And that is exactly why you will fail. A 2009 study by NYU psychologists found that when you announce a goal publicly, your brain releases a chemical flood of dopamine that is almost identical to the feeling of actually achieving the goal. Your brain is easily tricked. It mistakes the talking for the doing. You got the reward, the social validation, the attaboy, without doing a single minute of the hard work. I want you to picture a balloon. This balloon represents your motivation energy. Every time you have a new idea or a financial target, you blow air into the balloon. It gets tight, it wants to fly. But every time you open your mouth to brag about what you are going to do, you aren't blowing air in, you are letting air out. By the time you actually sit down to look at your budget or research stocks, the balloon is limp. You have no pressure left to push you forward. This is the dopamine leak. Silence is not just about privacy, it is about preservation of energy. When you keep your big moves a secret, you create internal pressure. You want the reward, but you haven't gotten it yet because you haven't told anyone. The only way to get that dopamine hit is to actually do the work and show them the results later. Plus, there is a darker side to sharing your plans. Schadenfreude. It's a German word that means pleasure derived from another person's misfortune. When you tell people your big, ambitious plans, you are subconsciously challenging their mediocrity. They might smile and say, good luck, but deep down, a part of them is terrified you might actually leave them behind. So, when you hit a roadblock, they aren't surprised. They are relieved. See, I knew it was too risky. Don't give them that satisfaction. Work in the dark. Let your results be the only announcement they get. But while keeping your plan secret is crucial, there is another specific number you are probably leaking every time you hang out with friends, and it is silently destroying your social circle. It's not how much you have, it's how much you spent. In the next part, we are going to talk about the price tag trap. We have covered net worth, and we have covered future goals. Now we need to talk about the most common social mistake people make: the price tag trap. Never, ever tell anyone exactly what you paid for your big ticket items, your house, your car, your vacation, or even your watch. Why? Because disclosing the price is a lose-lose game. There is no winning move. Scenario A, you got a great deal. You say, I only paid $15,000 for this car. Your friend thinks, wow, it must be a piece of junk, or they are cheap. They judge the quality of your life. Scenario B, you paid a lot. You say, this trip cost me $10,000. Your friend thinks, must be nice, or they are irresponsible with money, or why didn't they donate that to charity? They judge the morality of your spending. Once you drop a price tag, you invite people to become pocket watchers. I want you to imagine a dinner table. Everyone is laughing, having a good time. The check comes. Someone mentions they just bought a house for $600,000. The energy shifts. The air gets sucked out of the room. Suddenly, everyone is doing mental math. Wait, if he can afford a $600K house, why did he only tip 15%? If she has that much money, why is she complaining about gas prices? You have voluntarily handed them a calculator and invited them to audit your life. This is especially dangerous if you are the first in your friend group to make it. You might think sharing the price is inspiring them, or just sharing news. They perceive it as a flex. It creates distance. It turns a peer relationship into a hierarchy. So, what do you say instead? You use the vague deflection, friend. Whoa, nice car. How much did that set you back? You, I got a decent deal on it. It gets me from A to B. Anyway, how is your new job going? Pivot, deflect, move on. Your spending is your business. The moment you make it public, you turn your personal preferences into a public debate. And nobody wins a debate about money. But avoiding price tags is easy compared to the next trap. This one is awkward. It happens at family gatherings. And if you get it wrong, you will lose both your money and your relationship. It's about how you answer the question, can I borrow some cash? We need to talk about the ATM face. There is a specific facial expression people make when they find out you have access to quick cash. I call it the ATM face. Their eyes get a little wider. They lean in, and suddenly, their problems become your problems. The fourth thing you must never tell anyone is that you are liquid. I want you to visualize a quiet pond filled with fish. They are swimming peacefully. Then you throw a single piece of bread into the water. Splash, instantly, the water boils, the fish swarm, they fight. It's a feeding frenzy. That is exactly what happens to a family dynamic when you mention you have an extra $10,000 sitting in savings. You might think you are just sharing a financial win. They hear, I have the solution to your credit card debt. This leads to the soft loan fallacy. Your brother-in-law asks for $2,000 to fix his truck. He promises to pay you back as soon as his tax refund hits. Here's the brutal truth. Money lent to family is rarely a loan. It is an awkward gift that will ruin every Thanksgiving for the next 10 years. If you lend it, you become his master. If he buys a new TV before paying you back, you will resent him. If you ask for it back, he will resent you. You lose the money and the relationship. The only way to win this game is to never let them know you have the bread in the first place. But what if they ask? What if they know you have a good job? You need a verbal shield. You need to memorize this script. I'm actually cash poor right now. Everything is locked up in investments and retirement accounts. I literally can't touch it without a massive penalty. This is the asset-heavy cash poor defense. It isn't even a lie. If you are following the advice from my other videos, your money should be busy working in the market, not sitting in a pile of cash. By framing it this way, you aren't saying, no, I won't help you. You are saying, I can't help you. It removes the emotion. It shifts the blame to the bank or the penalty. You protect your capital. And more importantly, you protect your peace. But protecting your cash is one thing. Protecting your reputation as an investor is another. There is a specific trap that turns successful investors into social pariahs, and it has nothing to do with borrowing money. It's about how you handle your wins and your losses. In the next part, we cover the luck ledger. The fifth thing you must never share is your luck ledger, your big investment wins and your crushing losses. We all know that guy. He bought a meme stock or a crypto coin. It went up 1000%, and he won't shut up about it. He thinks he is a genius. You think he is annoying, but then, 6 months later, the market crashes, he goes silent. You don't ask him about it because it's awkward. This is the jealousy versus pity matrix. When you share your specific investment returns, you are forcing your friends to feel one of two toxic emotions. If you tell them you made $50,000 in a month on Nvidia, they feel jealousy. They wonder why they are working so hard while you click buttons. If you tell them you lost $50,000 in a month, they feel pity. They think you are a gambler and reckless. Neither of these emotions builds a strong friendship. I want you to imagine walking around with a giant neon scoreboard strapped to your forehead. Every second, it updates with your portfolio balance. Green, red, green, red. If you walked into a bar like that, nobody would talk to you. They would stare at the score. They would treat you differently based on whether the number was up or down. When you brag about your trades, you are voluntarily turning that scoreboard on. There is also a dangerous responsibility here called the tipster trap. If you tell your friend, I just bought XYZ stock, it's going to the moon, and they buy it because they trust you. If it goes up, they take the credit. I made a great trade. If it goes down, they blame you. Dan lost me my savings. You take 100% of the risk for 0% of the reward. The smartest investors act like they don't know anything. Friend, hey, what do you think about Bitcoin/AI Tesla? I don't know, man. The market is crazy. I just buy the boring index funds and hope for the best. Play dumb, be boring. Your portfolio is not a fantasy football team. It doesn't need fans. So, we have locked down your net worth, your goals, your spending, your liquidity, and your trades. You might be thinking, Dan, if I can't talk about any of this, won't I look boring? Won't I look average? Exactly. That is the point. This brings us to the final strategy, the ultimate level of financial freedom known as the stealth protocol. Here is the paradox of wealth. The only way to be truly free is to look like you are bound by the same rules as everyone else. We call this the gray man strategy. The gray man is the person in the room you don't notice. They drive a 5-year-old Toyota. They wear a t-shirt without a logo. They complain about the weather. They blend in. But when they go home, they open a laptop and see a 7-figure balance. They have no debt. They have no stress. They can quit their job tomorrow and be fine for the next 40 years. I want you to think of Clark Kent. Clark Kent is the most powerful being on Earth. He can fly. He can shoot lasers from his eyes. But he walks around in a slouchy suit and glasses, working a normal job. Does he care that people think he's a dork? No, because he knows he is Superman. The guy in the flashy suit, renting the Lamborghini, desperate for attention, he is the one trying to convince himself he is powerful. True wealth is the ability to opt out of the status game. When nobody knows you are rich, nobody expects anything from you, nobody tries to sell you expensive insurance, nobody sues you for a minor fender bender hoping for a payout, nobody guilt trips you into investing in their restaurant idea. You get to keep your money, and more importantly, you get to keep your authentic relationships. The people in your life are there for you, not for what you can do for them. So here's your mission. Build in silence. Let your bank account grow loud, but keep your mouth shut. Let your freedom make the noise. If this video helped you understand the power of privacy, do me a favor. Smash the like button. It helps us reach more people before they make the mistake of oversharing. Subscribe if you want to join the 1%, and in the comments, I want you to drop a single word to let me know you are going underground. Stealth. Hit that hype button so we can spread the message. Thanks for watching. Stay quiet, stay rich, and I'll see you in the next one.